The Super Mario Bros. Movie was wildly successful for Nintendo, as you can see from the Rotten Tomatoes score, where it has a 95% audience score. Despite critics not liking it, the movie still generated a huge amount of money on the global box office, over $1 billion. So naturally, they were going to do a follow-up movie to this, and we got the first trailer already for the previously announced Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. That's set to come out next year, but also we got an announcement of a live-action Legend of Zelda movie that's set to come out in 2027, and we've already seen first images of Link and Zelda from that movie, and honestly, I think they look pretty good. But still, a lot of people are wanting more from Nintendo because Nintendo is a huge brand that has a lot of popular franchises under them, so a lot of people see like, okay, you got a Mario movie, it had Donkey Kong in it, you're having a live-action Zelda movie. What's going to be next? What one of your major IPs are you going to adapt into a movie following these movies right here? And right now, we don't know for sure because there hasn't been any official announcement at this time, but there is some supposed insider information coming out right now to suggest that we may actually know what's going to be the next movie that Nintendo decides to make after Zelda. But before we really look at this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, tell me what you think is going to be the next movie, and also hit the like button too because it helps me out. Nintendo reportedly chooses its next big movie franchise after Mario and Zelda. It looks as though Mario and Zelda were just the start of Nintendo's big movie plans. This is coming from the Direct, and I think it is fair to say that they are going to have more movies coming out based off of Nintendo IPs, especially if the Mario Brothers Galaxy movie and the Legend of Zelda movie are as successful or even partially as successful as what we saw with the Super Mario Brothers movie, because like I said, that generated over $1 billion at the global box office. And right now it's looking like Mario Galaxy is also going to be a huge success for them. And if they actually are able to stick the landing on the Legend of Zelda, that movie is going to be massive for Nintendo because that's something that a lot of people have wanted to see for years. So if they can pull it off, it's going to be huge for them. So Nintendo is not just going to stop there. I mean, anything that they do following that is still going to be successful, and even more so if they actually are doing it right. So let's just see what they actually plan on doing with this. So according to a new report, Nintendo is ready to dive into yet another one of its biggest gaming franchises for a Hollywood adaptation. Insider My Time to Shine Hello shared in a post on X that he's heard Universal is trying to secure the rights to a Metroid movie that would slot into the studio's ongoing plans for a Mario cinematic universe. Scoop: Universal is trying to secure the rights for a Metroid movie to add it to the planned Mario Cinematic Universe. Now, when they say a Mario Cinematic Universe, I don't think they mean it's going to be like a shared universe like we've seen with DC or Marvel or anything like that. I mean, maybe some people think that that's the plan all along. It's all going to be leading into a Smash Brothers movie. I don't think that's what they're going to be doing right now, especially since the movies that they already have right now with Mario that's being created by Universal. Zelda is being created by Sony. So it just seems kind of weird if you actually do have plans to have a shared universe that you're not keeping it all within one studio system right now, because that can just create a lot of turmoil down the line. We saw that with Marvel not owning the rights to Spider-Man, that's still retained by Sony. So they have to try to find some ways to work together. But it does go to show that studios can work in conjunction with each other if it's mutually beneficial. But I think if the plan going into this was to actually have a shared like Smash Brothers universe, then it would keep it all within house. But it doesn't look like that's what Nintendo's trying to do. I mean, I think when a lot of people say a Mario cinematic universe, what they really mean is just a Nintendo shared universe. And that's kind of important though, because Nintendo, that's I think why Mario was so successful, because one of the things a lot of people liked with the Mario movie is that it seemed to be faithful to the source material, and by that it means it's trying to stay true to who the characters are and what this world is, and trying to do right by that, and also do something that the fans of the Mario franchise would actually enjoy. And with Nintendo's heavy involvement in the project, like we saw with Mario, as we're seeing with Zelda too, maybe they're going to do something that will be equally as successful. So I think that's what they mean when they say a Mario cinematic universe, and that a cinematic universe based off of Nintendo's IPs, with Nintendo being heavily involved in the production so that they actually make sure they're doing it right. This is just the latest mention of a potential Metroid film project. Previously known scooper Daniel Reichman shared a similar piece of news suggesting that Nintendo was overseeing the development of a Metroid movie. Now, Daniel Reichman and all this, I have a tough time believing what he says about this sort of thing. He's also previously said that they're going to be looking to do a Donkey Kong movie, and I think that's definitely in the works. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the follow-up after The Legend of Zelda or if that's going to be after Metroid or anything like that. I mean, they already have Donkey Kong. We got him in the Mario movie, so I guess that would equally make sense that they're going to do a Donkey Kong standalone movie since it's already kind of established. So you can just kind of do a spin-off of all this. But going back to Daniel Reichman, the reason why I have a tough time actually trusting what he says is he's also the one that kind of spread that rumor or started that rumor that Hunter Schafer was going to be cast as Princess Zelda, or at least was in the conversation to be cast as Princess Zelda. This article from That Park Place was kind of addressing those rumors after it came to find out. It's like, no, Hunter Schafer is not actually in the talk to be Princess Zelda. Something that upset a lot of people out there, or not, maybe not a lot of people, just some of the crazy people out there. But if you scroll further down in this, let's just say, okay, so the casting rumor originated with entertainment scooper Daniel Reichman, known online as Daniel RPK, who claimed that Schafer was being eyed for the role of Princess Zelda. The story spread quickly across social media and fandom pages, fueled by Schafer's high-profile role and recent media attention. While Reichman is known for scoops in the comic book movie space, particularly with Marvel Studios, there is no known connection between his sources and Nintendo or its partners at Sony and the Zelda film. So he was basically saying he had scoops on this. Now, could he have insiders at Sony or Universal who gave him this information? Sure, that's possible. I mean, someone who's a scooper isn't necessarily going to divulge who their sources is, but Daniel Reichman is known to have sources, like he says, amongst Marvel, so in other comic book things. So he was just kind of hearing information. And what I said at the time about this is I think what happened is, since we found out that Hunter Schafer hired a PR firm to basically pitch him to Nintendo for the role of Zelda, what happened probably is that Hunter Schafer kind of put out that information like, hey, go hire Hunter Schafer, audition Hunter Schafer to play the role of Zelda. That was according to his PR firm, or the PR people that he hired. Daniel Reichman picked up on this, like, oh wait, Sony's making Legend of Zelda movie, and like, oh, and Hunter Schafer's name was brought up in that, so maybe that's being cast as Zelda. You get the idea. It's kind of like the game of telephone. Someone heard Hunter Schafer's name being talked about in conjunction with Zelda, kind of put two and two together and ran with it, and that kind of got the internet all buzzing talking about it. So, but that's to say, Daniel Reichman wasn't necessarily the most accurate in his reporting. Of course, he brings up scoops and rumors, so you have to take them with a pinch of salt. But at least I think there was some semblance of truth to it. And now we're getting another scooper with My Time to Shine Hello, basically saying the same thing, as that Metroid could be the next big projects that Nintendo's going to make after The Legend of Zelda. It is not at all surprising to hear that more of Nintendo's vast library of titles are being considered for film adaptations. Previously, Mario creator and Nintendo mainstay Shigeru Miyamoto stated that there was no doubt the console maker was exploring more film projects beyond the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, that was even said before it was announced that there's going to be a Legend of Zelda movie. And I think everyone's thinking like, yeah, you make a Mario movie, it makes over $1 billion. What else are you going to do? Other recent reports have revealed that a potential Donkey Kong film is also reportedly in the works between Nintendo and Universal, spanning off from the Super Mario Bros. Movie franchise. The Metroid series dates back to 1986, telling the story of an armored bounty hunter named Samus Aran and her various exploits as she takes on space pirates across the galaxy. Okay, so I think most people are familiar with Metroid right now, but my big question in all this is like, what would be the other choice? Because to me, Metroid just seems kind of like the no-brainer option. Like maybe Donkey Kong, I could see that being the next big thing. But if you think about the Mount Rushmore of Nintendo franchises, not necessarily like their most popular characters or anything like that, but if you just think about the big franchises that pretty much just define Nintendo, you got Mario, you got Donkey Kong, you got the Zelda franchise, and then you have the Metroid franchise. Maybe one can make the argument that Star Fox would also be up there, but I would just probably have Metroid edge out Star Fox, and just for the simple fact that Metroid came out first before Star Fox. So I think if they are going to do something, maybe it would be a Donkey Kong one, because that would be a lot easier just to spin off the Mario movie into a Donkey Kong movie. But if you're going to do like a completely new thing that's separated from everything else that we've seen before, and make that into another Nintendo movie, I think Metroid actually seems like the reasonable option right here. Now, the article talks about how it's Universal pitching the idea for a Metroid movie. Maybe that's not actually accurate. If you recall, a couple years ago, there was talk that Universal was also pitching a Legend of Zelda movie to Nintendo. This was before it was announced that the movie was actually happening. These were rumors at the time that, hey, there's going to be a Legend of Zelda movie now after Mario, and it's being done by Universal. Well, come to find out that wasn't true. It's being done by Sony. But there was some semblance of truth to the initial reporting, and that it wasn't necessarily Universal going to be doing it. It was Sony doing it. But the fact that they were actually doing a Legend of Zelda movie was turned out to be 100% true. So with that in mind, hearing that there's rumors that there's going to be a Metroid movie, I think there's actually some credibility to that, and it does look like, or at least I think it's pretty reasonable to think that there's probably going to do a Metroid movie, and that's going to be the next big thing that Nintendo is going to try. At least to me, that makes sense. It's a popular franchise. Nintendo movies, especially if the next two ones that they have coming out end up doing really well, then I think Metroid would probably be the next one that they choose. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think Metroid would be the next big Nintendo movie? Or do you think it could be Donkey Kong or maybe Star Fox or maybe some other movie? Who knows? Comment below, let me know. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit the like button and share this video out there because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.